Hi, this is Pat Duckworth, the author of Hot Women Rock, How to Discover Your Midlife Entrepreneurial Mojo. And my guest today is a woman after my own heart. She's the co-author of the best-selling book, Life's Real Currency, Build Your Business on Relationships. She spent 27 years serving her country in the Air Force and now serves the business community. She translates her many years of servant leadership in the military into practical advice. She encourages you to dump the old habits and seek out fresh approaches to your business. It's a big welcome to Brenda Sanchez. Hello, Brenda. How are you?
Hi, Pat. I'm good. How are you today?
I'm really good. Brenda, tell us about your early career. Did you go straight out of college and into the Air Force?
I did. So I actually was already in college before I decided to join the ROTC program. And it was because my brother was also going to college. He was a year behind me. So my sophomore year, we were trying to figure out how to pay for college. And I looked into Air Force ROTC and did ROTC for the second half of my sophomore year and my last 2 years of college, and then went right into the service. There was about a 6-month gap from graduating to actually going on to active duty, but straight from college.
So what attracted you about going into the military?
Um, to help with education,
Yeah.
to help pay for my college. I had looked into the service in high school to help with my education expenses, and my dad also served in the service. He was in the Guard and Air Force Guard or Air National Guard, and I didn't really know him in the Guard because he was young, and uh, but I have a lot of family that served. So
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a great way to pay for college, but also serve my country.
Yeah, and there's often a family history of service like that, isn't there?
Yes,
There are
yes.
sort of military families, and it just seems a natural way to move on. So, what did you learn in your years in the military? What path did that take you on?
So my military service was in the cyber or IT computer career field. And I got to do so many cool things. I got to work at the Pentagon for Dick Cheney when he was the Secretary of Defense in his Crisis Management Center. And that was really cool because we all had to back each other up. And so you got to learn things that maybe weren't normally your job. So I got to work in the AV suite, the audiovisual suite, and in the presentation area. And that was extremely cool to have that. And that's what led me down a path to liking. I had also been a photographer, so it was my time that I got to integrate graphics and photography and kind of do graphic design, which was really cool. That's when I started to really like doing that.
So, did you get to travel the world?
I did not. I joined the Air Force to see the world, and I saw the US. I actually was only stationed in Washington, D.C., in Maryland up at NSA. My training was down in Biloxi, Mississippi, and Colorado, and that's it. I didn't even, so we call them TDYs, temporary duty assignments. I didn't even get a TDY outside of the US. I only got 2 TDYs inside the US. So I enjoy doing what I do today because the goal is to be traveling the world with our business now.
Yeah, it just seems a shame you didn't get any of that opportunity. So, how did your career develop within the Air Force?
So started out, as I said, at the Pentagon and then up to NSA. And I culminated my career here in Colorado Springs at NORAD Northcom, which is the Homeland Defense of North America. So I got to work right alongside of my Canadian counterparts, which was really cool to do binational, I guess is what you would call it, duty. it's really cool to see the differences and to hear how their careers are different than ours and their different retirement systems. And it was a really neat experience. And to sit in a command center where you see everything that's going on around the world was really cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a great job. So then what happened towards the end of that military career? Did you decide that you'd had enough, or what happened next?
Well, I wish I had decided that I had had enough and that I chose to get out, but I actually got passed over for promotion. And we knew that I had about a year and a half after that board, and then I was going to be forced to retire in January of 2015. So I had started our entrepreneurial journey back in 7 years ago, so in 2011. So I had some overlap of 4 years, and I just wasn't listening and moving on to doing that full time. And the Lord, or I call it the Lord, that's who I believe in, finally gave me a big swift kick in the butt, or you know, you and I were talking the other day, a 2x4 over the head to say it's time to move on and do something else.
Yeah, sometimes if you're not taking the hint, you get a bit of a slap to do it because
Yes.
it's for your own good. It's tough
Yes.
love. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. So what was the business that you started while you were still in the Air Force?
So my husband and I started a business where we help businesses grow their business, and it's relationship marketing. So it's teaching businesses how to build the relationships to love on their current clients and prospects, because that will lead them to more business. And that's what led to us writing the book, so that we could share that knowledge with more people, try to get the word out to more people.
So how did you learn those skills? Was that something that you developed while you were in the military?
I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I started with lemonade stands and delivering papers early in the morning and helping my mother with her Avon business. So I learned very early on, in probably I was 10, 11 years old when I started doing those type of things. And throughout my life, I've learned that if you treat people right, they turn around and treat you right or help you. So it's we've learned a lot more in our personal and professional development over the last 7 years on this journey, so that we can share more with businesses. But it really, I think, was always something that I knew at heart.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of entrepreneurs I talk to, they've had that history of, you know, doing something even in childhood and then building on that as they go into their entrepreneurial career. But I'm interested, no, I'm not going to ask that question yet, but you holding on to that thought. So tell us what happened then. You did those 2 years while you were running the two careers side by side, and then where did it go from there?
So running the business and the military at the same time,
Yeah.
it was a challenge. It truly was a challenge, because it's really hard to do two things at once. And my last 5 years in the service, I worked shift work most of the time. So I worked 2 days, 2 swings, and then 2 midnights. So it was really hard to build a business and talk to people when you're tired all the time, because your clock, your sleep clock, or your, what's it called,
Your body
circadian
clock.
rhythm, or whatever it is,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, gets all thrown off. So your sleep patterns get all thrown off. So it's difficult, but we plowed through it, or I plowed through it, and still was able to somewhat build the business on the side of my military career, partly because I loved it so much. I think when you find something that you're passionate about and you really love, you find an hour or two every day, even if you're tired, to get it done.
Yeah. And then when you finished your military career, how have you developed your business since then?
So a lot of personal development, a lot of going to conferences and trainings and getting out and networking. So going to networking groups and building relationships. I am in BNI here, Business Networking International, and that has really helped. I've been doing that now for 3 years, and that has really helped to grow my business or our
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's our business. So,
Our business.
yeah. So this is Pat Duckworth talking to Brenda Sanchez, and we're just going to move in now to talking about that transition from the military service into being an entrepreneur, although that entrepreneurial spirit was already there and bubbling away. So my career started with over 30 years in public service and then moving into being an entrepreneur. And there's two things I want to talk about with you. And one is the change of identity that comes with moving from one to the other. Because for me, it was from being a director in a big government department to being a therapist. And that was quite a change in terms of my status when I talk to people. The first morning when I was buying my sandwiches in the local supermarket instead of being in my office in central London was a bit of a shake-up for me. How did you feel about that when you had to leave that identity of being in the military behind?
So I think I was ready to leave it behind, but it was difficult. It doesn't matter whether you're ready to move on to the next phase or not. Like you said, I wore a military uniform and I was a major, so I was an officer, and that demands a lot of respect, and people treat you like you said, you were a director. They just treat you differently. You're seen as a leader. And then when you don't have that uniform on anymore and you're just wearing civilian clothes like everyone else, wearing a suit or, out in the business world, you kind of blend in and you're like everybody else. And so it is hard to find your own way and to become an influencer in a community that you were never an influencer in. So going out and building those relationships are key to being able to become an influencer, and keeping in mind when you're meeting people, what do they need, and helping them. So giving them, always finding a way to help them grow their business. And if you're the connector and you're helping them connect to people or grow their business, then everybody wants to come to you because you're seen as, well, Brenda knows everybody in Colorado Springs. And that's what I hear all the time is people will come to me only because I've become a connector and I know so many people.
Yeah, I get that too. Sometimes, my friends say, oh, Pat knows everybody. I'm sure I don't, but, it's having that mindset of who can I connect with who. And sometimes when you go networking, you think, I'm not going to be able to help the other people in the room. But if you think wider about it and think about, well, I can't help them, but I know somebody who can.
Right.
They're going to appreciate you because of who you're connecting them with. And that next person may not be the person who buys from them, but they might have a network and so on. And the web spreads out from there. So yeah, it's really important. So the thing that's connected to that is that when you've been in public service, certainly in this country, people assume that you have no idea about the business world, that if you're retiring from public service, you're just going to do something that will while away the hours until you completely retire and sit and read the newspaper all day. Do you get some of that same attitude in the States?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know how many people said to me when I was coming up on retirement, oh, we'll see you in the buildings that I worked on Peterson Air Force Base. We're building 1 and building 2. And they said, oh, we'll see you back here in 6 months. And I'm like, oh, no, you won't. And they're like, yes, we will. And I saw so many people come, like when they retired, would give in and come back to public service or come back to being a civilian in the military or in the government. And I was set on not doing that. But yes, people think that you're just going to go out and do the exact same thing that you did while you were in the service, because we're creatures of habit. It's our comfort zone. And so many people get stuck in that comfort zone and can't get out of it. It's like even a schedule. I'm sure in public service there in the UK, just like here in the US, it's very structured.
Yes.
And when you get out, there's no structure, and you have to put that structure in place. And if you don't hold yourself accountable or find somebody, a friend, to keep you accountable, it's really hard to transition from a very structured environment to you having to provide the structure. Did you find that too?
Absolutely. And the other thing is that you no longer have a support system around you. So if your computer goes wrong, you don't just pick up the phone and ring IT and say, can you come and do it? Or you ring accounts to do something, or whoever you normally ring. Suddenly it's you. Was that a challenge for you as well?
Yeah, it was. I didn't even think about that till you brought it up. But yes, you're at work and the computer goes bad. You call the IT department and they come fix it. Or you have a problem with a printer and somebody else comes fix it. Now it's all on you. You've got to find somebody to call. You've got to find somebody in that network and find somebody outside that can help you get it done, or you got to figure it out yourself.
And of course, you have to develop new skills yourself. So I wonder, what new skills have you developed to be a full-time entrepreneur?
Well, time management for sure, because when you're in the service, they set your time. You know, they set your schedule, the meetings you're going to go to for the most part. And when you get out, time management is huge. Now, I'm not an expert at time management. I still have lots of challenges there, but I've learned a lot in that arena. And then all the personal development we've done and gone out and learned from experts in the field on relationship marketing and on marketing and how businesses can grow their business. So it's been a journey of professional development, really, the last few years, which really is no different than being in the service and probably in civil service there in the UK also. Because they highly encourage professional development while you're in the service.
Yeah, for sure. So my next question is, what does success mean to you now? How do you define success?
Success to me means doing something that you love and you're passionate about, and not having time constraints, being able to drop everything and go help family if you need to, spend time with family, and not have somebody telling you when you can and can't take vacations. To have that time freedom is huge. And I think that's a huge part of success for me today. It's very different than when I was in the service.
Yeah, for sure. So if you had some top tips for new entrepreneurs, what would you say to them?
One is read books, professional development. Find if you're, whatever career field you're looking at, or whatever job you want to go do or business you want to start, go find somebody that has already succeeded. Find a mentor, because success leaves clues. And so go find somebody in your industry that is willing to mentor you, and go to as many trainings, as many personal and professional development classes as you can, because that's truly how my husband and I have learned what we've learned over the past 7 years. It's just a culmination of everything we've learned, and then put our own spin on it, or our own voice to it, is really what we've done. And a lot cliff notes, I guess that's what most people say to us, is we have a way of giving you the cliff notes version. So go find people that are successful and learn from them.
Yeah, that's really good advice. So just tell us a bit more about your book. Give me the title of your book again and tell me who it's for.
So it's called Life's Real Currency. The subtitle is Build Your Business on Relationships, a Foundation for Success. And it's meant for businesses to grow their business and to learn how to build relationships in their business. So this is our book here. Can you see it?
Oh, very nice. I like it.
So it really focuses on the business owner, anybody in sales, a sales professional that is out trying to build their business, either as an entrepreneur or even as an employee. It's also great for businesses for the employees, because it talks about taking care of your employees, because when you take care of your employees are going to take care of your customers, where if your employees aren't happy, then your customers probably aren't happy.
Absolutely. I used to run a customer service team, and it was really important to me to look after my team so that they would look after the customers when they rang up. You don't want unhappy people dealing with your customers. So
no.
Anybody watching, Brenda, if they want to find out more about you and what you do, how do they do that?
So they can go to lifesrealcurrency.com, or they can pick up the phone and call. In the US, it's 719-331-1525. Or you can find me on Facebook, Brenda Sanchez. You can also find us on LinkedIn, which is Michael and Brenda Sanchez.
Lovely. Well, I'm sure people will be looking. So what have we learned today? Well, we've learned that you can move from military service and public service into being an entrepreneur if you've got that drive, that passion, and you can take some of the skills that you've learned from one sector into the other. And the other thing, really important thing, is that you have to keep learning and developing. So having coaches who can help you to build your business, and just that personal development so you can put your own angle, your own spin on what you do, and the importance of looking after your customers so that they become such happy people, they want to come back and use you again, work with you again. Whatever.
Work with you again. Yes, yeah. Work with you again and send all their friends.
Yes, and you know, those referrals are absolute gold dust for your business. When happy clients become brand advocates because they're so happy with you, they say, well, you must go and see Brenda, you must talk to Pat, this is what you need to do. So yeah, we want our advocates out there, our happy customers. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us, Brenda.
Thank you, Pat, for having me on.
And to all of our viewers, keep watching out for the next interview with another amazing entrepreneur so you can learn and develop your business. I'll see you next time.